Alright, so with the violins, we talked about this and we're going to talk about it with you. I want you to understand that this is a challenging piece for sure, the way it's written, because you have a half note followed by a quarter note. And that means you have a long, slow note, then you have a short up note. And that up note, you have to rush back to the frog. So it's really easy to make this sound absolutely opposite to what I mentioned in the previous video. It's very easy to sound like this. That doesn't sound much like a dance, does it? So it's challenging for sure to play it like that. So I'm going to introduce to you something called a slur. Now, a slur is when you connect two or more notes, different notes, in one bow. If you connected the same notes in one bow, that would be a tie, and you would add that up and it would be one solid sound, most cases. In this case, if you were to connect up the bow and the notes, you would end up with one bow per measure, and you wouldn't change direction in that same measure. So whatever you do in that measure, whatever those notes are, you try to play them in one bow. Okay, and you just change your fingers according to the time of the note. Let me show you what I mean in the first measure. So that was the first line, I apologize. So the first line, didn't that sound smoother? Didn't that sound nicer? So if you go very slowly, and I suggest you try this with stop bows, you know what stop bows are. So between the notes, stop the bow and then add the next note for the length that it is. So here's the first note, half note, stop the bow, and then add the next note in the same direction. Now I have a half note. Students have a lot of trouble with is as soon as they get to the next note, they change their bow direction. So let's try and keep one bow for each measure. I'm going to play through the whole thing. I want you to listen. I want you to watch. And when you try it, I want you to do it very slowly. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. While you're listening to that, you could actually practice some of that dancing we talked about earlier.